Evening, everyone. It's Wednesday evening, 7:15, and this is your closing comment, and it is video number 861. And as I always remind you, if you like the work, please support us by hitting that subscribe button. And you might hit the notification so you know when there's something that's out, whether it's a pre-open or a closing or maybe a special situation that I do during the day based on a trade we're making. In any event, we started the day with futures that were up 200, then they were only up 60, then they were up 150 again. In the meantime, we opened up, built on it early this morning, and then just kind of messed around during the day. I don't remember seeing us get anywhere below up 200, and we finished on the high of the day up 286.01 or 0.83%. NASDAQ, another big day, up 133.08 or 0.9%. S&P 35.63, 0.8%. The Russell, again, the leader, up just under 40, 1.81%. And the transports, 141.46, and that was up 0.97. We had some earnings news yesterday and today, so let me get started with what I consider to be the most outstanding, and that was CMG. That's Chipotle, for any of you who don't know. And when I came to you this morning, we were 1642, up 68. We traded as high as 1778 and closed the day 1756.97, up 182.62 or 11.6%. That was really a hell of a move. Also last night we had Netflix, which had closed at 5:30. It was down 7 this morning, pre-open. But more important than that, last night when it printed the earnings numbers, it traded all the way down to 496. And all I can tell you about that is that should serve as a warning of how thin some of these markets are in the extended hours. Before it had finished at 8 o'clock, it had rallied all the way back up to 534 and was actually slightly higher on the day. Today didn't fare as well. People got behind the numbers a bit, and the guidance, which was not overwhelmingly good. And the stock closed 513, down 1742 or 3%. Texas Instruments, earnings today, 194.24 on the close, and it was fairly ugly after that. TXN got all the way up. Let's look at it. Regular hours closing on the high, and by the way, right on the upper Bollinger Band, which turned it down hard, and it's trading 185.50, and that's down 227. So from a 194 close to 185.50 is down $9, although it only shows $2.27 on the day because that's the change from yesterday's close. We also had Coca-Cola, J&J, and Verizon. None of them did anything of any great value. A loser today in the earnings side, Las Vegas Sands. Las Vegas Sands has actually been on a bit of a move lower, and it bounced off. Let's go to the regular hours. It bounced off this low on Monday and closed up on the range for the day, even though it was down a little bit. Next day, higher high, higher low. Then today, higher high, higher low. So it moved off this low at 46.15 to close the day today 49.42. The problem was it missed both top and bottom, although they really didn't do much to it. As you can see, it's actually up a dime from yesterday's close, but way off the high of 50.63. So we'll have to see how this one acts in the morning. It was a little bit of a bounce off very oversold. You can see the MACD looks like it could be getting ready to cross to the upside from very depressed minus 183. UAL also had earnings today, and they beat estimates, unless, of course, you took a serious look and saw that they had a loss of almost $4 a share. I'm really tired of all of this bullshit about how they're not affected by Delta, by the Delta variant, not Delta the airlines. The stock had closed 48.10, up $1.78, and is trading tonight 48.17, which is still up $1.85. But all the crap about all the money we gave them to keep their flight attendants and pilots on the payroll was all a load of crap because they didn't do it. They're understaffed and they've had to cut flights. And so, to me, that really makes me wonder what they're doing with our $54 billion that we gave them and the airlines in general. And the $25 billion that we gave them at incredibly reduced rates. So I'm a little bit concerned about that. Kind of pisses me off. And Neuro, yesterday's big winner, as you can see. This is regular hours. Let's go back to regular hours. Closed yesterday, as I mentioned, 10:04. This morning when I talked about it, it was trading around 1390 actually was the high this morning, and it was up 309. But it never even got close to that. It gapped up on the regular open to open at 17 and change, which is right about here. See that little mark there, 17 and change, rallied all the way up to 38.67 and finished the day at 20.80, up 10.76. So it was up 207% yesterday, 107% today, and it was stopped repeatedly on the volatility numbers. And tonight it is trading 22.98.99, and that's up 12.95. So instead of 107, it's now up 129. So live by the sword, die by the sword on those folks, because it can just as easily gap to the downside tomorrow as it did to the upside today. Although I will say their methodology for trading fibromyalgia, which is a really non-specific problem, pain, generalized pain, is really a big step in the right direction. So I got to give them credit for that. Okay, this is the bonds, and we got short the bonds here. And I tried to average down, didn't get it. They blew them off to the upside. This morning I was telling you I really wanted to see it close below this 163.29 and 163.26. It actually got down to 163.11. But on the close, it had worked its way back up. It was still down 1 3/8 on the day, but it did close above those. Tonight, it's a little bit lower, as you can see, down 5/32. But I need to see it take out the low here now, the way that it did in this couple of days. I'd be concerned about a reversal back up if we go down to this 20-day MA and bounce, but I'm not really sure we're going to do that. I think it got, this was a very crowded trade. Everybody was short here against these highs, and this was a short covering rally and a little pullback, and then again, I think this was very excessive to the upside. I think that the move to the downside could also get excessive. And just so you can see, because I key more off the 10-year note, and the 10-year note is down 15 30 seconds tonight. And was all over the place today too. So you can see we're a lot closer to 133 and 315, 330 seconds. So we're pretty close to breaking that to the downside. And those two numbers I gave you in the 10-year are way down here. I'd still like to see us come back in towards this area, maybe around 130 in the 10-year. The gold was down a little, but it did not violate, from my perspective, to the downside, because even though it got all the way down to 1790 something, let's see, 1794.30, it did not break below the bottom of the consolidation, and it didn't, and it rallied halfway back up on the day. It's a little bit higher tonight, but not much. But the big surprise, and I guess it was more news related, Cathie Woods and one second. There we go. Cathie Woods and Elon Musk talking about Bitcoin again, and from a new low close, it opened basically unchanged overnight and traded up as high as 32,830, which was right on the 20-day. Pulled back down but closed strong, up 1,900, and tonight we're a little higher, so I think it might be a little bit more of a risk-on type of trade again. I'm not sure we can get through 35,000, but it sure would be nice to see it try that. Ethereum outpaced it ever so slightly today. All right, everyone, I'll be back first thing in the morning. Oh, by the way, just wanted to mention two things. First of all, the market internals were 3-1 in both NYSE and the NASDAQ. Volume, however, was down almost 10% versus yesterday. So as we continue to move higher, unless we start to see some more volume, that would concern me. Down big on big volume and then up on lower volume is a concern. And secondarily, I want to mention the YouTube that will be attached to tonight's note. It's Sharif Suki talking about what they've accomplished in Tellurian and what they're doing now. And he's, for a 2 or 3 minute YouTube, it'll definitely be worth your time. I'll also be bringing up a bunch more information about the gold-only trading account for futures. We're putting something together. I should have it for you by the weekend, if not over the weekend. And I really want everyone to give us a call. By the way, Dennis's other favorite commodity I want to just add is coffee. And he was long the coffee, and I was calling for $1.76 when it was back here under $1.56. Today we hit $1.7790, and Dennis was long this. We closed up 920 at 176. So this may really be the opportunity for you to participate in a market you normally wouldn't be able to with someone who is really an above par trader. All right, everyone, I'll be back in the morning. Don't forget to hit subscribe.